You look like you're in Kuala Lumpur, mate.
Who, me? Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. Thank you so much for tuning in recently. We've done some amazing vlogs. We did one with a Chelsea fan, Prime, who goes on the football terrace. He was on Saturday. We did that. And we've got a special guest coming on, actually, hopefully tomorrow. Right now, we've got two special guests, been on before, DeeJay, Elpy. How are you guys doing?
What's up?
Hey, everybody.
Everybody cool. So look, there's no fixtures at the moment. There's nothing going on apart from transfer speculation. I know pretty much LP. I know you're not too interested in it, but what do you have on us at the moment about the transfer news? Anything on your mind going on?
There's a lot of. We tend to steer. I've been steering clear of the transfer speculations surrounding United.
Now, look, I know what you're talking about. Like, obviously, the Van de Beek deal came out within 24 hours. They were linked with him, I think it was back in January of this year or summer last season. There was a big link after his huge performance for Ajax in the Champions League. But yeah, like, obviously that happened within 24 hours. It was a case of they were linked with him in the morning, and then by that evening, the deal was done. And I don't think there will be any, as you say, verified sources confirming any United deals, because I think it's all gone under the radar. I think they learned their lesson after the whole Maguire fiasco and everything that happened in January and even last summer, where they seem to have this Manchester United premium that goes on players these days, where they're charging like above and beyond what people should be paying for players. So look, if I was United, I'd do the same. I'd make sure nothing got out, and I'll do the deal in private, and then until it's actually announced, I wouldn't be looking at anything. I know there's a few. I could go through the list, but obviously the big one is Sancho, and that's obviously
That was never going to stay under the radar. Never in a million years was that going to stay under the radar, though.
Yeah, and that's the problem, though. You look at it now. Like, do you honestly think if that wasn't in every media outlet, it would be a 120 million quid deal?
Yeah.
I honestly don't think so. I think you'd be talking about 80, 90 million. If you're paying 80 or 90 million for Pogba, who sells twice the amount of shirts that Sancho does, I think you're talking 80, 90 million for Sancho. There's no way.
Sancho has one thing that Pogba doesn't.
Don't say
his nationality.
Yeah, the English premium as well, because he's an English player.
That's why he's 120.
So DJ, do you think though 35? I think it's 35 million pounds, 40 million euros, isn't it, for Van der Beek? Do you think that's worth it? Seeing as Grealish was worth around 70 to 80 million, they were rating him.
Van der Beek is a better player, in my opinion. He's a more well-rounded player. Like, if you look at his stats from last season, he's a more well-rounded player. Grealish is great going forward, but defensively he doesn't do enough for me. So yeah, Van der Beek is an all-round player, and for half the price, you're getting a better midfielder who can slot in any of the three positions that United seem to have right now. He can play defensively, he can play box to box, and he can also play in that Bruno Fernandes role in the pockets of space behind the front three. So for 39 million quid plus 5 million add-ons, I think it was, that's probably the deal of the summer for me. Probably besides Timo Werner to Chelsea, but besides that, like, I think Van der Beek for me is the deal of the summer.
Well, there is a deal. Thiago Silva to Chelsea. What a deal that was.
Yeah, that's on a free, but he's 35 years of age.
But I guarantee he's going to solidify that defence. He is an incredible centre-half.
Yeah, I'd agree, but you need somebody good beside him. It's a similar situation to Maguire at United. I think Maguire would be good if he had somebody with maybe a bit of pace beside him. And as I was saying just before we started recording there about Deo Upamecano, what a player that is, and to be linked with United already, like, it's crazy. I think there's a release clause in his thing for 40 million quid, but that doesn't come into effect until next season.
Yeah, I was going to say it was updated because he did have a release clause up until I think it was June, and it was like 30 or 27 million was his release clause in like June or something, and then they put another one in that only becomes active after this season ends.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. United might have to wait if they do want to buy him until next season, which, to be fair, he's only young, so I wouldn't mind. I'd wait until next season and then I'd pick him up. I think there's other areas they probably need to focus on a bit more as well, strengthening an actual squad depth. Like Fred is good there. I actually rate Fred. After the season he had, he was a good player. And then obviously with Van de Beek coming in, you still have Fernandes, you still have Pogba, you still have McTominay. That's a good solid 5 players battling for 3 spots. So I'd be happy with that if I was United. Next place that you need to obviously strengthen is your front 3. And they need to start letting go a lot of the dead weight. Jesse Lingard, Pereira, players like that, they all need to go, in my opinion. They're not bad players, might do well in another Premier League team, but they're not Manchester United players, as the saying
standard
goes. Yeah,
I think
the standard of football. Yeah.
The problem is though, like, I don't know if you heard rumours that Fred could go out on loan to Galatasaray.
No, on permanent.
Yeah, there's talks of permanent deal, there's talks of on loan, but based on what was in Sky Sports this morning, Fred has come out himself and said, look, I haven't been told anything. The club haven't said you're able to leave. We're not actively looking to sell you unless somebody wants to come in and pay, I'd say, more than what we paid for you. We're not selling, basically. And I'd keep him because he seems to be the best cover for Matic at the minute.
But then again, on that cover for Matic, if this whole Thiago kind of fiasco, if he doesn't go to Liverpool and ends up going to United instead, Fred doesn't play.
Yeah, no, never in a million years would Fred play. I think McTominay is the clear choice to slot
Matic.
in. After.
Matic should be the clear one after.
No, after Matic. I'm talking.
Yeah, I was going to say because it'd be Thiago and then Matic and then be McTominay or Fred be them fighting out for third string like.
But yeah, like it's gonna be a difficult decision for Ollie, but that's obviously what he wants. Like you noticed that last season, there's no competition for places there, and Rashford, Martial, Greenwood could have a bad game and not get pushed out of the team because there's nobody there to cover. It was the same before Fernandes arrived. Pogba, McTominay, Fred, they could all have a bad game and not get pushed out of the team because there's nobody good enough to come in and take their spot. Do you know nobody on your heels, biting at your heels to say, I want that spot. Yeah. I'm coming in after you. So, yeah, with this this is what I was saying about the Sancho deal as well. United obviously need somebody like that to push Rashford, to push Greenwood, and to push Martial to say, look, if you're not performing, we have somebody who's waiting in the wings, ready to step in. So, between the 4 years, one years has to be out, and if you're not performing well, that's you that week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do you know what? I wanted to say something as well. The fact that, we were talking about Grealish and how much he would cost. The fact that you can get Thiago Alcantara and Van de Beek for around the same price, is that not a better deal by getting them 2 players instead of just one?
You could get Upamecano, Van de Beek and Thiago all for the price of Jadon Sancho.
Even better.
Yeah, and it's actually cheaper, because it's 27 million for Thiago. It was 40 million for Van de Beek. So that's 67, say, and I think it's 40. I think they're looking at a rough price 40 million for Upamecano, which still leaves less than Sancho.
Well, still leaves you the 20 million left to buy Reguilon, who was another one who they were linked to. So there's 4 players for the price of Jadon Sancho. And I personally, if it was me and I was on the board, I wouldn't go for Sancho. Price is ridiculous during what's happened, obviously, throughout the world. Like, it's a ridiculous price. Compared to, like, you look at Chelsea, they signed Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner and Thiago Silva, all for the price of Jadon Sancho. Hakim Ziyech is a winger. You could have got him. Timo Werner, could have got him. There's 2 players that would have pushed for that front 3 spot.
I don't think Werner would suit United, though.
He's got a bit of pace about him. Do you know what I mean? And he could push Martial out of that team, or he could push Rashford out of that team and push Martial out onto the wing. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I like about Martial, Rashford and Greenwood, is that they're versatile to play in that across that front 3. Whereas if you have somebody who, what I'd call the Ruud van Nistelrooy, like a recognised fox-in-the-box striker who's going to bang you in 25, 30 goals a season, which is what United are missing most.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had that, and then Martial scoring 20 goals, and then Rashford scoring 20 goals, and possibly Greenwood scoring 20 goals, United would be an unstoppable force going forward.
So, DeeJay, we're talking about defences. We might as well swap teams here right now and talk about Gabriel, who signed for Arsenal. Do you think that's the sort of similar thing that Man United should be doing, bringing in a young talent who could do the job and fix the backbone of the team?
Yeah, big time.
Arsenal
I
could do
think,
that.
yeah, well, look, Arsenal and United were both linked with Gabriel. And I honestly thought up until the 11th hour that United were probably going to swoop in for some sort of deal and bring him in. What a player. Like, he looks really, really good for Lille, playing in that league. And, like, he has to have been on Ollie's radar. And Ollie might be kicking himself a little bit for not bringing him in. But for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, what a transfer. Like, we obviously know Arsenal had their defensive struggles last season. David Luiz is obviously getting on in years now as well. So you can't rely on a player like that all the time. And then their other centre-half position was either filled by the likes of Mustafi or, Holden. These kind of players where I go, like, they're good, but would they ever be Arsenal quality? Like, we remember watching Arsenal in the Invincibles era. And would you have put any of those players into that Invincibles team? I don't think you could put them into any Arsenal team.
I wouldn't put any Arsenal player in it at the moment into that Invincibles team.
Bar Aubameyang.
Maybe Aubameyang, but even at that, probably wouldn't, no.
Yeah, no, you could put him in as a substitute. Do you know what I mean?
He's
a good player to come off the bench.
Like, that Invincibles team was incredible, so...
But that's what I mean. You can't change a team like that. But what I'm saying is, if you had to take somebody out, would you take anybody out, and who would you swap them with? But, like, to be fair, you'd need cover, which is what obviously Mikel Arteta is looking at now as well, and he needs a lot of cover. Obviously, there's talks of Bellerin leaving. There's talks of, there's a lot going on at Arsenal there.
Guendouzi, right?
Yeah, Guendouzi's on his way, I think, as well. So, like, and Guendouzi's a player actually quite rated, and I don't know why they're letting him go. Like,
I don't like him at all.
No,
I think he's bang average at best. Like, there's one player though that it seems to have gone under the radar because everyone just assumed he was already an Arsenal player when he's not. Like, Dani Ceballos.
Yeah, he's a Real Madrid
player. He's back with them now though. He's back with Arsenal again
for another season-long loan, and that's probably in itself like a new signing.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because he was very good for them last season. Very, very good.
Yeah, right at the end as well. He had really good form for the club, definitely, guarantee. Like, and he celebrated the goals like he was a fan. Do you know what I mean? And that's why the club saw that in him, I think, and wanted to give him that extra year.
He rejected 3 loan offers from between Spain and Italy, and he said the only club he's going to was Arsenal.
It's weird because I think one of the clubs was Real Betis, right? And he supports Real Betis.
Yeah, but he obviously likes London and obviously likes playing with a decent Arsenal team. And I think more so, if I'm being candid here, I'd say the biggest thing that probably sold him on it was Mikel Arteta. He obviously has a philosophy. Yeah, he has a vision, and we could be seeing the next long reigning Arsenal manager. He has a good philosophy. He's got a good set of players there now.
He's a
young guys with a good mix of experience, and to be fair, I think you'll see Arsenal doing very, very well in the coming seasons.
I agree.
Can we pretty much talk about the hot topic at the moment? It's going to be the hot topic probably of transfer news from probably the very start of transfer news. The fact that Messi, after how many years? 17 years? Maybe even longer because of
20. It was 20 years he's been playing since.
Years.
Yeah, since Barcelona youths, he's been playing for 20 years.
And I'm hearing that Barcelona are saying that that's it for him now. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. They don't want him at the club now, and he's definitely going to leave. Yeah,
that's what I was reading today. Like, obviously, I done a video on this the other day talking about Messi and talking about what's happening. And there's obviously been crazy updates since then. There's been crunch talks. He hasn't turned up for training, hasn't turned up for his coronavirus testing. They fined him nearly £500,000. There's so much going on. And look, obviously, he doesn't want to be there. Barcelona don't want a player like that who doesn't want to be there. Like, you want somebody who's going to play for the badge, play for your team, and be out there actively trying to win trophies and not in the back of your head going, well, next season I'm leaving on a free, so why bother? Do you know what I mean? So
this is karma for getting rid rid of Bobby Robson back in 96, 97.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. Like, I think it's just crazy. I think, like the biggest thing for me was obviously the removal of the previous manager and bringing in Kike Setien, because they all liked the other manager. They all kind of played from. Obviously, there was a string of results weren't going correct, and Barcelona board seeing something that they obviously didn't like and got rid of him. But I think the biggest problem at Barcelona right now wasn't the manager's position, but was the president's position. And that's your man Bartomeu, and I think he has to go. I think he has to take a step down and hold the elections this year. And that's what's probably been the biggest driving factor causing Messi to leave the club. But Pep Guardiola, I seen today, had phone called Messi, and in that phone call, he actually told Messi to stay at Barcelona, which is it's a crazy thing. I don't know whether that was for the press, because obviously, like, you're hardly going to turn around and say, I stay at Barcelona. But if you want to come here, obviously come here. Do you know what I mean?
I think the reason he's telling him to stay at Barcelona is because Messi's loophole out of his contract isn't valid anymore. I know his lawyers and solicitors, whatever, they're trying to reinforce it, but that could be the reason why Pep is telling him to stay, because his loophole isn't valid anymore. The only way Barcelona are going to sell him is through the release clause, which is 700 million.
Yeah, but Barcelona can sell him. They can nullify by mutual consent the release clause, right? That's the thing. That's why these crunch talks are being held. So would you rather, let's say, make 40 or 50 million this year, or maybe even 80 or 90 million, depending, like brand deals, sponsorships, all that kind of good stuff? Would you rather make that kind of money this year, or would you rather let them go on a free next summer? Like, that's the big thing.
I'd rather do, but I'm just saying that could be the reason why Pep is saying it. But did you see the deal that was supposedly structured and being offered to Messi from City?
Yeah. The 2-year deal. It was a 2-year deal, I remember saying that.
There's a little bit to it more than that. I heard that there was
5-year deal.
2 years plus another year or two at New York City.
It was a 5-year deal.
Yeah,
total.
So you hear
there was a crazy deal that I seen. Yeah, I think, Lee, that's the one that you're referring to, is the 2 years with an option to extend for every year after that for 3 years further. But it's initial definite 2-year deal. And then every year after that, up to 5 years, they can extend for a further year, and then they take it from there. So kind of like a rolling contract.
450 million.
That's what his wage bill is.
It's madness, though.
Yeah, that's what his wage bill is. It's mental. But I don't think that'll fall under financial fair play, because it's his wages. It's not a transfer deal.
No, it will. It will still fall under it, yeah. It will.
So they'll obviously have to start shifting some dead weight at City as well.
Which is part of the reason why. It's part of the reason why I don't think he actually will go to City in the end, because you look at a club like Manchester City. Yeah, granted, they're doing well in tournaments, they're doing this, they're doing that, but what are they retailing? What's their marketability like? It's not there. It's non-existent.
Well, LP, there was a journalist outside of Old Trafford today, Sky Sports. I can't remember his name, but he was talking about the fact that, having Messi would actually, on a reality basis, would actually sell out crowds, and people from abroad would actually come and see City. Now, I know it sounds dumb, mate, because I'm a United fan, and that just sounds crazy. It just sounds like you're just selling the empty had, which is what I want to call it.
Yeah, empty had, yeah.
And the fact is, I think United fans as well look at it. We've had one of the best players at the same time in the world at our fortress, and it was a lot more of a bigger deal. And it'll only be for shirt sales or anything like that Man City would do any good off of it. I think they might win the Champions League, but
I don't see it being a benefiting factor for them, because if you look at then, say for example, the other options that he had. So for example, I know it's not going to happen. I'd love it to, but it's not going to. Manchester United, right? If he went to Manchester United, his wages for the year will be paid off in the first week on short sales alone. At a club like Manchester United, at a club like PSG, exact same thing. At a club like Juventus, exact same thing. Clubs
even Inter Milan.
Inter Milan, exactly. Huge and loyal fan bases are going to absolutely run amok with all this. Like, look at the amount of short sales that Ronaldo had when he went to Juventus. It's madness. And then
just so you know, I have like
point proven. But like, big clubs like that with huge loyal fan bases, they're the ones that will really, really benefit from it, and financial fair play won't affect them. City will be really hindered by financial fair play if they do go ahead with that, because it means they're going to have to sell a stupid amount of players, not because they can't afford them, they absolutely can't afford them, but they need to have it within the financial fair play of FIFA, of UEFA.
Yeah.
FIFA, whichever it is, FIFA fair play, yeah. They need to stay within them constraints. So money isn't an option for City, and that's what people don't seem to realise. It's not the money that's the problem. It's the financial fair play that comes with it.
And looking at that, you know, City obviously don't have as large a fan base, or maybe they do now, but they wouldn't be as loyal a fan base, let's say, as somebody who has a rich history like the likes of United, Juventus, Liverpool, these kind of teams. You know, you talk about it, and even Chelsea to an extent.
Oh yeah,
Chelsea have a huge fan base.
I'd say Arsenal more so.
About Chelsea, let's talk about Chelsea. What do you think, LP? What do you make of Chelsea bringing in all these players at the moment?
I think they're doing incredible business. I really, really think they're doing incredible business. Like, some of the players that they've brought in, like Werner, Ziyech, and who was it? They were on the verge of signing Kai Havertz before the transfer window even opened. Before it even opened, they had pretty much, like, they had 2 deals solidified already, and then
for cheap as well. By the way,
yeah, for dirt cheap as well. Like,
they weren't crazy prices.
No. Surely what was it? Timo Werner's buyout was €50 million. For Germany's number one striker, €50 million.
Number 2, I would have said number 2.
Well, who's the number 1 at the moment?
Haaland.
He's from
Haaland's Norwegian, but
no, I thought you meant the German league. Sorry.
Oh, no, right. Germany.
Yeah.
And even at that, the German league bored them because you said Lua has to be top of that.
Yeah, well, Lewandowski.
Yeah, so like he's Germany's number 1 striker. Like he's their number 9, like.
Yeah.
And you're getting him for 50 million release clause. I don't even think they paid 50 million for him. I think, like, it's madness. They done a great deal.
They done what Bayern Munich done. They went around, they shopped around, they found bargains, and they've literally brought in players for buttons compared to what these crazy deals that we're talking about. Obviously, Messi is going to be a crazy amount. Jadon Sancho is going to be a crazy amount. You know, nobody is obviously looking to pay these extortionate fees. Do you know what I mean? And even, like, talk about Bayern Munich, they brought in Leroy Sané from Man City, who I think is a great boy.
Excellent boy for them, yeah.
And he was buttons compared to what he should have been worth. You know, and, like, I think there's certain clubs out there who are having what we call a great transfer window, and there's certain clubs out there who aren't. I think Liverpool are going to struggle this season if they don't bring anybody in. We've seen it towards the end of last season, and I just wanted to call this out because Liverpool haven't actually bought anybody yet, bar your man Simicas, is it, or Sikimas or something his name is?
Mickey
Yeah, this guy, yeah. But
What's
like
this?
they've only Costas, yeah. But they've only bought in him. That's literally it, and that's one centre half. Where they already have, I would say, 2. I wouldn't say world class compared to Van Dijk, but they're 2 solid centre halves who could slot in beside probably the best defender in the world at the minute. Why are you bringing in another centre half when you realise last season that if one of your front 3 is injured, you're not going to win the game?
Is he not a fullback, no?
He's a defensive. No, he's centre half.
Costas. Are we still talking about Costas here? I blanked out for a minute.
No, Simicas, I think his name
is,
or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like he's a centre half, right? And you brought him in. You've obviously got 2 very good fullbacks. If either one of your fullbacks gets injured, they're gone. I think they have a poor game. If any one of your front 3 is injured, I think they have a poor game. And yet they're talking about bringing in Thiago, which obviously centre midfield is a place that they need to strengthen. But they already have Fabinho in there. I rate your man Wijnaldum. Keita was having a good end to the season. I think Wijnaldum is
class.
Yeah, and Keita was having a good end to a season as well. And then you have Henderson, who had probably his best season ever.
To date.
Yeah, to date. Like, so you have 4 or 5 midfielders there as well. And like Oxlade-Chamberlain can slot in there, is another solid player. You know, they got rid of deadweight like the likes of Lallana. They obviously need to improve their front 3. And I think that's something that Liverpool realise, but I don't think Klopp is willing to invest because he obviously sees the crazy prices that are being thrown around for players.
On that note,
Liverpool will struggle.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think they will as well. Sorry. On that note, though, I have seen that Barcelona are very interested in taking Sadio Mane.
And also Gini Wijnaldum.
Yeah,
Koeman
but
has that link
I
with
think the
Wijnaldum.
Gini Wijnaldum one is cooled off.
Liverpool raid.
But if Mane goes, you're gonna see a very, very different Liverpool side.
AAT, he's on his way.
But
Yeah,
like,
you'll
I
see
think
it really
Liverpool are
different.
going to struggle this season. As I say, I think Chelsea are probably going to be the breakout team this season. I still think Liverpool might win the league, just because they have probably the best defense in the league. Between three of them, I'd say obviously with one new centre half coming in, we'll see how that guy performs. But they have your man Minamino that they bought last year, and I think I've seen him for about 12 minutes all season.
Not great.
They have Origi who's living off the highlights of his Champions League goal.
I'd say Origi's a good player to have in there for them, though. He's great to kind of come in and cover.
Bit like
He's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. It's exactly what he is.
For me, he's another Benteke in sheep's clothing.
I actually rate Origi. I think he's a very good player.
I'd look, if you were to pick between Origi and Lukaku, I'd take Lukaku every single day.
Yeah, but Lukaku's not going to be happy to sit on the bench. Origi is. You have to factor that in as well. And if you push Bobby out,
but if you take out Mane, right, and push Firmino out,
then he doesn't do anything.
Origi in, then he doesn't do anything. Firmino doesn't have his impact, and then Origi's not getting the ball. And like, to be fair to Salah, he had a decent season last season, but nowhere near his best. So they need cover in there, and they need somebody who's a big name player. And I don't think they're going to get that.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on today. Elpy, DeeJay, it was good little chat there. If you look back on that, I'm pretty sure it'll make sense.
Some semblance of a conversation in there somewhere.
Why do we always get distracted and talk about United all the time? We always do it.
We do,
because we're in a chat with two United fans, and they're obviously at the forefront of the media, so that's why majority of conversations I have with you guys turns out to be United.
It is the main talk at the moment, LP, isn't it? That Van der Beek.
I know. I've been trying to move away from the United conversation as well to get other things in, but it just keeps circulating back.
It's that shirt. As soon as I saw that shirt, LP, I was like, I've got to talk about it.
One thing I do want to mention is obviously the new Ibrahimovic deal at AC Milan. He signed another 1-year deal for 7 million quid. Yes. So fair play to the guy, 38 years of age and still playing top league.
Be playing at Tala Stadium in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm going out to hunt him down.
Shamrock Rovers, what's up?
Zlatan, if you're watching this, I'll see you at Tala Stadium, yeah.
Not too hard to find that guy. He's very tall.
I'm sure he'd stand out in a crowd, all right.
Yeah, pretty much. I've seen his judo kicks, mate. He looks vicious.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, you want to shout out all your social media so everybody can find out where you are, and if you want them to, that is.
Come on, DeeJay, you go first.
Sure, yeah. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at DJB. And I'm also on Facebook now at D-J-B. And they'll all be on the screen anyway. Go check them out.
Yeah, so my Twitter is just Lee here, and then the YouTube was just Elpy.
And go check us out to Football United TV, obviously on YouTube. Subscribe to us. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. And everybody, thank you for joining in. And thank you too as well for your input. As always, brilliant from you both. Know your stuff, you know what I mean? It's just fan opinions as well. So it's always good to have you guys on. Hopefully we can get you on for the Premier League preview.
That'd be pretty good.
Thanks, Matt. It was fun.
Cheers.
As always.
Cheers, guys. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Peace.